Good morning, everybody. How are we all today? Nice to be back again. We're doing Asteroids Part 2 today, and we're getting ready to wind up our COVID computer camp this week, as you're all aware. Tomorrow's going to be my last broadcast for a little bit. It doesn't mean we're stopping forever. It just means that we're going to take a little vacation, and then when I come back, we'll have a new set of offerings. It won't be daily. I need to get a real job at some point and start paying the bills around here. But I am going to be back with live streams at least once or twice a week, and with some other additional content. I'll be telling you more about that as time goes on. So I don't have a firm date for starting up again, but what's going to happen is by the end of this broadcast, all of you who are my regular viewers, you're all going to make sure that you have given Maya an email address, and we'll be sending you a newsletter sometime in the next couple of weeks telling you how we're going to be restarting our offerings again in the new year, or sorry, when the new summer season starts again. So looking forward to letting you know about that. And of course, there's always my website, chromeworks.ca. There will be something prominent there talking about what we're planning as well. So no worries there. You'll be able to figure out what's going on. Just stay tuned, and we'll be happy to come back to you again soon. Let's see who's here today. So Maddox was the first one in this morning, like 2 hours early, sitting in the lobby wondering where everyone is. So good morning, Maddox. Salima's here, bright and early as usual. She's reading Ichabod, which I didn't know was a new short story by J.K. Rowling, I guess. I haven't heard anything about it before. So that's exciting. Deck is here, and Frida's here. Frida's asking, will the Flipgrid still be alive for different computer camps? Yeah, I'm going to keep it, well, Frida, the one that I just put up today, let me actually show it to you guys. So this is the Flipgrid that I made for you guys for the end of camp, right? This one is going to be unique to this particular camp. It's just going to be you guys, if you have anything to say about your experience here at COVID Computer Camp. We've been running this for 12 weeks already, right? So if you have anything nice to say about us, or a favorite memory you want to share or something, I'll probably be putting something up on there tonight. So remember, you can just go to the Flipgrid website. It's the address for this particular. Seems like my magnifier is working perfectly until I get online, and then suddenly it stopped working for some reason. Let me just have a quick look at that, because this really annoys me when this happens. So into my settings. Sorry, guys. So it's supposed to. Yeah, it's not. Okay. So for some reason, not pointing at where it's supposed to zoom in on wherever the arrow is on my key. It's not. It's just zooming in on the middle of the screen, and that drives me crazy. I just tested this a little while ago too, and that's the weird thing. Okay, we're gonna lock it to my mouse cursor, and that will solve the problem. But then it'll kind of wiggle around though. Eh? That's frustrating. But okay, we'll learn to live with that. Sorry. So back to the COVID camp memories, right? So you guys, I'm hoping that everyone can just leave a little video. So just go to the website, which is flipgrid.com/COVID camp. That will get you right to this page, and then scroll down, and down here, if you click on this little plus button, it will ask you to log in with a Google account. And after that, you'll be able to just record your own messages. Click on the plus button and give it permission for the microphone, for the camera and microphone to work, and you can record a little message. We've been doing this stuff for quite a while before with my other site, which is flipgrid.com/coding questions, and people have been adding comments there. So Frida, to make a short question long, basically this COVID camp memory thing is going to continue just for this camp, and then I'll lock it and no one will be able to add to it afterwards. The other one, the coding questions one, will stay alive, and if you want to add anything during the vacation or whatever, any suggestions for what I should do when I get back, that will still be alive. Okay, great. Sorry, so I got distracted there. Who else is in here? Supreme Commander Jake is in here. Good morning. And let's go have a look over on Discord. Avi's here. Good morning, Avi. And Davy's here. Good morning, Davy. And as always, my trusty wing person, Maya, is here. Good morning, Maya.
Good morning.
Maya, do you have a favorite memory of COVID camp that you think you might want to share?
Ooh, that's
Oh, I
that's
put
a
you.
hard one. There's so many good ones.
All right.
I don't know, I think it's mostly just like meeting all you awesome people on YouTube and getting to talk to you guys.
Okay, that's a really nice one. My favorite Maya COVID camp memory is definitely the robot dance contest. I thought you did a fantastic job promoting that whole thing and showing it off, and so that's definitely the thing that'll stick out in my memory. So, okay, let's get going here. We got lots of coding to do. So once more, let's get back to my coding window here. So we are going to be continuing to work on asteroids today. We need to blast through a whole bunch of it because it'll probably stick through till tomorrow. But tomorrow we've got lots of other stuff going. We've got our Kahoot. We've got our I've got a little graduation ceremony planned where I'm going to be calling a bunch of you guys out and showing off some of your work. I've got a little video I'm in the middle of producing, so look forward to that. I really would like everyone, again, I'm going to say, everyone please come tomorrow. Even if you're normally busy and you come and go, tomorrow will be a good day to come. If you've done any work, like remixes or anything for this camp, you will be recognized in our graduation ceremony. We have a little graduation certificate they're going to be handing out to you guys electronically. And there's a lot of exciting stuff happening, so please come tomorrow if you can. All right, so let's get going here. Unless there's anything else. No, it doesn't look like there is, so let's get moving here. Good morning and welcome back to COVID Computer Camp. We're ready to go here with part 2 of Asteroids. It'll probably be a 3-part lesson because there's a lot of coding to do. Today we're going to be working on the actual asteroid itself. You might remember yesterday. Let's go have a look. You probably remember that yesterday we finished coding our main ship, and it seems to be flying along nicely, wrapping around the screen. Everything's looking good here, but we don't have anything else alive in the game yet. So the next thing we're going to do is the asteroids. It's going to take quite a bit. There's a little bit more to do on the spaceship, but that probably won't be till tomorrow. We want to add shields to it. And of course, we don't have a collision event with this asteroid right now. We can just fly through everything and we're totally unharmed. Those of you who like your games non-violent, maybe you just want to keep it this way and just fly around in your spaceship. But meanwhile, let's get to the coding of the asteroid. So I clicked on the asteroid here. Yeah, that's working now. So we're going to start coding it. Now we've already got 2 pieces of code here. Number 1 is our define movement and direction, and the other one is wraparound screen. So the wraparound screen there's one of these in every single sprite, and that just means when it goes off the edge of the screen, it comes back and starts on the other side. So we have basically a tiny little screen that you're trapped inside of, and no matter how fast you fly, you always end up coming back into it again. The move in direction block, I was talking about this yesterday, there's some complicated trigonometry in here, but it's really a more accurate system for checking your XY coordinates when you're moving on a diagonal so that your speed stays constant no matter what direction you're going, and the movement looks very, very smooth. You can program the whole game without this stuff, but it's just an extra little touch. And so I haven't taught you guys how to do this because it's way past your pay grade, guys. Most of you are in grade 4, 5, 6 or so, and so you're not going to be getting into trigonometry for another 4 or 5 years. So I won't teach you how this works, but you should just know that this will help your game be a little bit smoother. Okay, let's get a green flag out and we'll get started coding here. Let me zoom in. All right, so as we usually do when we start off with a new object, we have to set some variables. So let's go to our variables, and we're going to set, oh, by the way, I'm working in my working file here. I will paste the address back into the YouTube chat. If at any time you get stuck, you can just reload my file, and that will bring you right back to where we started from again. All right, so let's set asteroid size stage. So I mentioned yesterday that we only have 1 model for the asteroids. I've got 4 different costumes for it, there's only one side of it. You know that in the regular asteroids, there are 3 different sizes of asteroids. And so we kind of hacked that a little bit and made it run a little bit easier by just every time we make new asteroids that are smaller, we're just going to shrink the existing ones. So we can do everything inside this one sprite, which is really handy. Okay, so asteroid size stage is at 1. So that means we're at the first size of asteroid. Asteroids left. Let's set that. Set asteroids left. This isn't alphabetical, is it? And I don't think the variable even exists in here yet. It looks like that's one that that didn't get saved when I made this template. So let's go make a variable. We're just going to type asteroids left. Okay, so asteroids left, we're going to set to 0 because right now there are no asteroids on the screen, just this master one that's going to be hiding later. So so that one is going to not count. So as soon as we make our first one, we're going to start adding to that asteroids left count. And we're going to do some interesting math stuff with it later to keep track of the number of asteroids on the screen. But it's difficult because we're taking one asteroid splitting into 4 pieces, and those ones can each split into 4 pieces as well. So the one asteroid can actually give birth to 16 different asteroids. So how do we keep count of how many asteroids are on the screen? It makes it a little more complicated. Okay, we're also going to set the round number. Right now we're at round 0, and that's a variable that again isn't in here, so we'll go make it. Make a variable, round. Oh, I typed ound. There we go, round. And we'll set round to 0 as well because we haven't started round 1 yet. All right, let's hide this guy. So this asteroid is just the master asteroid that's going to be making clones. So we're not going to see him on the screen. He's just going to float around making clones when we need him. We've already changed the size here to 80, but let's just reset the size to 80% here as well. So under our looks menu, we're going to grab a set size to 100% block here. And I'll put it underneath and change it to 80. So as we resize our guys, we're going to want to make sure that we remember that master size for which is what our number 1 type asteroid is going to have. Switch our costume back to the main the first costume, which is costume 1. All right, so now we're ready for a forever. Let me save my work. Okay, let's go to our control blocks. We'll grab a forever, and so now we're going to start spawning asteroids forever, basically. So we need inside of forever, we need an if statement. If, and it's not an if else, I don't think, no. So the first thing we want to do here is once we've run out, so we often start these kind of scripts saying what's going to happen at the end because we're checking at the very beginning to see if the round has ended. And if the round has ended, we don't need to bother with all the rest of the stuff that has to do with asteroids yet. So we always check at the beginning to see if the round has ended, and that's what we're going to do right now. So if asteroids left is equal to 0, which means our round is over, let's go grab an equal sign and plunk it in there. So asteroids left, we need that variable. We'll go find that bubble inside our variables list here. Asteroids left, there it is. If asteroids left is equal to 0, if we've run out of asteroids, then we're going to change our round. Change round by 1. Now the interesting thing about this is the first time we go through this code, our round is 0. So as soon as we start it, asteroids left will be 0, and we will change round by 1. So it's going to set us up for first round right at the very beginning, right? Now, after the round starts, we're going to wait 3 seconds because we're going to give our player a chance to get himself oriented on the screen before, and he's actually able to fly around before the asteroid starts spawning. So we'll give him 3 seconds, and then we're going to tell our asteroids where to spawn. So we're going to do that with some go to XY commands, so motion. So instead of setting random start locations for these guys, we're actually going to, instead of setting random locations for these guys, what we're going to do is give them fixed positions so they always start at the same spot. And I think that's pretty typical of what happens in the actual asteroids game. So we're going to grab a go to XY. Yeah, so Maddox is asking if this is an if-else statement, and I am quite certain it's not, actually. So just so you know, it's not an if-else statement. I often make that mistake when I'm doing coding because I don't look down at the bottom. But today, no, we're good. Okay, our first go to XY coordinate is go to minus 95. Minus 95 is your X, and Y is 49. All right, then as soon as we move our master asteroid to that location, we can create a clone to get him moving. So let's go to our control events and grab create a clone of myself. All right, now we want to duplicate these two sprites, the go to and the create clone. So I'm going to move my mouse over the first of the two I want to duplicate, right click and duplicate. And I'm going to pop it right underneath, and I'm going to do it again as well because we need 3 of these guys. We need 2 of these blocks for each of the asteroids. We're going to start with 3 asteroids on the screen. So the second go to XY block is going to be a different location. That's minus 25 and then minus 104. And the third one is going to be 128 and then 25. All right. And create a clone of myself. And then one last little bit here, which is we're going to change that. So let's go to our variables. We're going to change the number of asteroids left. Oh, I'm not setting. I'm changing a variable here. Change asteroids left by 3 because we actually have 3 asteroids on the screen now, right? So we want to make sure that variable stays. Okay, let's test this out. We're just going to click the green flag, and after 3 seconds, 3 asteroids should appear on the screen. Let's see. Oh, they're invisible though, aren't they? So that happens in the when I start as a clone. So we're going to have to make them visible before we can see anything. Let's jump to the when I start as a clone event just so that we can test this out. All right. So right underneath here, we're going to do a when I start as a clone command. So under control, when I start as a clone, the first thing we're going to do is show. So let's go to our looks menu. We'll grab a show, and that will make our clones visible. Let's test that one more time. Maximize our screen, click the green flag. And after 3 seconds, there we go. Our 3 asteroids have appeared on the screen. Now we're going to randomize what they look like by changing their costumes around. That just hasn't had a chance to happen yet. But you can see you're in the middle, and your 3 guys are going to start moving randomly in a couple of seconds. So let's get moving with some more of this, and we'll figure out how to get these guys actually moving around the screen properly. So first thing we want to do is set a random speed for these guys. There's a whole bunch of things that we're going to do to set up their speed and their rotation and a few other attributes, and then we can just let them go to town and start floating around. So let's go and grab our speed. We're going to go to our variables. We're going to set a variable right down here. That variable is speed, so it's already there. That is a local variable, which means that there's a different speed characteristic for every single clone as we make it. And so that's one of the good things about building these variables as local variables instead of global variables. A global variable affects everything in the game, and you can see it from anywhere. Whereas the speed, a local variable, only affects one clone or one sprite at a time, and you can give the same attribute to multiple things. So I could use speed for every single object in this game, and every one of them will have a different speed number total. So set speed to, now we're going to use some math to figure out what the speed is going to be based on the size of the asteroids. So we're going to make the smaller asteroids move bigger, and the bigger ones move a little bit slower. So let's put a multiplication sign. You guys will remember the multiplication sign is a little star. It's right there. We're going to grab that and pop that into the variable number. So we're going to make this asteroid based on the size of the asteroid. So let's go grab that variable that says asteroid size stage. We'll pop that into the left bubble there. And on the right, we're going to put a random number. So it's going to be the size times a random number. So a size 1, the slow one, will move slower. And the size 3, the smallest one, will move faster. So times, and let's put a random number in there. Operators, pick random. And the random number we're looking for here is anywhere from 0.8 to 1.2. And what this means is every single asteroid that's created will move at 0.8 of its regular speed, or 0.9, or exactly its regular speed, or 1.1 or 1.2, which means that it'll go anywhere from 80% of its regular speed up to 120% of its regular speed. So it's going to go a little bit faster or a little bit slower, basically. And the bigger the asteroid is, the higher the stage, the bigger the speed is going to be as well. So theoretically, our Psi 3 asteroid is going to move at a speed of maximum speed of 3.6, so about 4 or so across the screen. Okay, so that's the speed variable set. Let's switch our costume now. Let's go to our looks menu. We'll go switch costume to a random one again. We want a random costume from 1 to 4 because we've got 4 different costumes. Now when we play our game, you'll see that we have 3 different kinds of asteroids and different, every one of them looks a little bit different. Well, these 2 are, no, actually, I think we managed to get all 3 different kinds of shapes here. Cool. All right, let's set a few more variables. So we got to set their initial movement direction. Each asteroid will be moving in a random direction when it starts. So let's go set movement direction, which is a variable. 2, again, a random number. What random number are we going to pop in there? Well, it's going to be anywhere from 1 to 360. So every direction around a circle. Now, there's 2 different variables here. There's a second variable we're going to modify here with the same numbers. I just did a duplicate of it. We're going to change the name to visual direction. So let me explain these 2 variables for you. Movement direction is the direction the thing's moving in. Visual direction is what direction it's facing in, but the visual direction is what direction is the asteroid facing in as it spins around. Every asteroid is going to spin around and rotate this way. Now we could have done that with costumes, a different costume for each rotation, but we're actually keeping track of it with a variable here. So we're not going to move our asteroid in, so we're going to move our asteroid in a direction, but we're also going to rotate it in a clockwise direction as it moves along here. So we're going to pick the starting direction here. It's going to be anywhere from 1 to 360. So again, every time I respawn these guys, they're going to be turned in a slightly different direction. Well, we haven't actually done anything to make visual direction do anything yet. So that's going to come in a little bit later. Okay, so let's set another variable. Go to our variable, set. Now we're using XY positions called pause X and pause Y as our location. I explained to you guys yesterday that we're not using the normal XY coordinates because they don't allow decimals, and we want very, very accurate calculations here. We've created our own XY system, but we're just going to map that out to where, for starters, to where our current XY position is. So let's go to our motion blocks. At the very bottom are 2 little bubbles that say X position, Y position, and let's pop those in. So we're going to start with our X and Y pause position, our position X matching where we actually are on the screen. And then this script is going to take over and start moving us in a more accurate way with decimal places and stuff. Okay, so we can start moving here. We've been doing a lot of coding here. Let me save my file. I'm going to put a forever down here. When I get back, we're going to start filling that up. So sorry, not a lot happening right away. There's a lot of setup involved in getting these guys moving. But once we get the code going in, it should start to make a lot more sense once we've got the stuff in this forever loop going. So I'll take a little break and I'll be right back. Okay, so not much going on in the code right now. I don't remember if I said good morning to Eric. I'm seeing him here in the YouTube feed. So good morning, Eric. If anyone else is online and wants to say hi and get a shout out from Mr. T, please go ahead and just say hello in the chat and I will say hi back, I promise. Okay, so we want to do some more coding. Just wanted to make sure everything was okay here. I've saved my file one more time. Yeah, not much to see right now. So I don't. Maddox mentioned that he had a remix, but there's a little bug in it, and I never did figure out what file it was that he remixed. So Maddox, if you can get that information to me, we'll show you a remix tomorrow, I guess. if you can just Deck's saying hi. I've already said hello to you, Deck, haven't I? Oh, the space shooter. So so Deck has remixed the space shooter game, but I'm not. Or sorry, not Deck. Maddox has remixed it. He said there was a bug in it though. So Maddox, let me know in the chat whether you want me to, whether you're ready to have me show your remix yet, or whether you want me to wait until you fix your bug. I can help you a little bit after the broadcast if you want to. You have one more chance to show it tomorrow before we pull the plug on this camp. Okay, let's get back to it, guys. All right. Okay, we're back. We set up our initial variables here, and now we can start moving these guys around and starting their collision detection and stuff like that. So let's get moving with that. All right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to point in the direction that we picked. So we picked a movement direction here, and we need to point our asteroid in that direction. So let's go to our motion blocks. Oh, let's get back. All right, so let's go to our motion blocks, and we'll go do a point in direction inside the forever here. And that direction is going to be the direction that we picked, which is movement direction. Let's go to variables. We'll grab a movement direction. So now we're pointing in the direction that we picked. Let me just click the green flag here, and you can see that all our guys will be rotated a little bit. It's hard to tell unless you see them side by side, but they're rotated. All right. Now, we've already got some blocks here that help them figure out how to move. So we're going to go down to make a block, and we're going to add our move in direction and wrap around screen. That'll get these guys moving, I think. I don't remember if there's anything else to do here. Let's click the green flag and see what happens once we add those two little pre-made blocks. No, they're not moving yet. So that set them up to move. I think there's one more thing we have to do in here. All right, we're also going to rotate these guys. So they'll be moving in a second, guys. Be patient. So we're going to grab a change variable in here. We're going to change our visual direction by 1. So what that means is every time we move around here, we're going to change the angle at which we view these things so they look like they're rotating. And then we're going to tell them to point in direction again, eh? So we're pointing them in a visual direction. So we're pointing in a direction here, moving them, and then pointing them in a direction again and rotating them. It's an interesting little bit of code here. This is something Jeffrey did from the other day, and I wouldn't have imagined that this would work. Jeffrey keeps finding interesting ways to do coding that really makes me shake my head and go, what? Often it turns out to be smarter than I think I am with this stuff. Like, I think I have a good idea, but he does find some really tricky, innovative way to get the stuff done that's more efficient for some reason. Okay, so we're going to point in direction. Let's go to our motion menu. We'll go point in direction, and we're going to point in the visual direction. So variables. We're going to repoint our guy. So all of this, I think this movement direction stuff, pointing in the movement direction. Oh, and look, our guy's spinning. Our guys are spinning now. As soon as we added that, our guys started spinning around now. So when they point in this direction to move, it's going to happen so quickly that you won't actually see that they've moved any. I guess the problem is they don't have a speed right now. We did give them a speed, but we haven't told them to move at their speed, okay? We'll give this a couple of minutes. I think these guys will start moving in a sec. And, oh yeah, so we've calculated their position X and their position Y using that variable. This is what's going to get them moving now. So we're going to tell them to go to whatever the new location is that we calculated. So let's grab a go to XY. And in there, we're going to pop two bubbles. One says position X, and the other one says position Y. And let's see if that gets our guys moving. Nope, still not. So there's still something else that has to happen here, right? Let me have a look ahead in the code here. So we set the speed of these guys, set speed to asteroid stage. And does the speed figure into, I want to go have a look at these little red blocks that I have here. Yeah. So the speed, yeah, it is calculating the new position based on the speed. So it should be spitting out a new position X and a new position Y as soon as it does that move in direction. So why isn't it moving yet is the interesting question. All right, that is weird. What if I set a speed in here? I'm just interested in whether speed isn't being set properly. So let's go set speed to 3 or something. And click the green flag. Yeah, so once the guys get some speed, they actually start moving around. So I have a feeling that speed variable is being set in a different part of the program. So let's just put a pin in that right now. And I'm sure... Oh, so our asteroid size stage is 1. So let me see what that speed variable is like. We're just going to do a little elementary troubleshooting with this to see what's happening in the code. I'm sure this will all work in the end, but I'm kind of curious about why it doesn't have speed left. So let's make that speed variable visible. So our speed is still 0 because it thinks that our asteroid size, and let's go look at our asteroid size stage. It says it's 0 still, right? So so this is the reason that we're not moving yet, because it thinks our asteroid is size 0 and the speed is tied into the size. So did I forget to set that size variable? When I created the guy, so when we created our first clone, our clones were over here, right? Create a clone of myself, change asteroids, left. So I have a feeling that inside our clone creation here, with where we were supposed to change our variable, I don't see it here, eh? Change. Okay, I'm going to keep coding here, and hopefully our guys are going to, as we keep moving here, at some point we're going to add that variable. We know that if we want these guys moving, we're just going to have to find a way to change that asteroid size stage. Maybe as we move through here at the end is where we'll probably add it. Change asteroids left, change size stage. Yeah, there is some code down below here. Let's keep going, guys, and I have a very strong feeling that this is going to work after here. So inside here, we need an if statement. So let's go grab an if. Now, this is where we destroy our guys if they're touching a whole bunch of stuff. If we're touching a bullet or touching me or touching an enemy saucer, it will smash these asteroids and break them up into a smaller piece. And if they're the smaller piece, of course, they'll destroy themselves. So we need a big if statement with 4 ors in here. So I'm going to grab an or and another or and put it inside the first one. We're going to keep doing that 3 times. Now we have 4 slots to put our ifs into. So we need a whole bunch of touching. Let's go to our sensing commands and grab this one that says touching mouse pointer. I'm going to put it in the first slot here. Remember to be careful when you place these things, because if you place something and you don't quite set it up properly, it can end up like here, for example. It'll replace the or instead of placing it inside the or. So you want to make sure the spot where you want to put it into is glowing before you let go. Okay, touching mouse pointer, I'm going to change that to say touching projectile. And I'm going to fill up the other 3 spots. It's going to say touching my ship or touching the 2 saucers. So large, small saucer, and large saucer. Okay, so if we're hitting anything vaguely dangerous as an asteroid, what are we going to do next? Let's have a look. First thing we want to do is a wait. And this is one of these weird ones where we wait 0 seconds. Why wait 0 seconds? Because believe it or not, Scratch considers 0 seconds to be a number. All it does is say, it's like the asteroid saying, you go first. So the other thing that it's interacting with, which is the bullet, it has to delete itself. And so the 2 of them are getting the command simultaneously, but if the asteroid gets deleted before it can change some stuff around, everything's going to mess up in the program. So we give it 0 seconds so that the bullet can delete itself and a whole bunch of other stuff can happen. And then immediately after that, because of the wait 0 seconds, then we'll be able to do all the stuff to destroy or to break down our asteroid. Okay, so wait 0 seconds. Now we're going to play a sound. Um, the sound is a little bit complicated because it depends on the size of the asteroid. There's a different sound for each of the 3 asteroids. So there's a bang small, a bang medium, and a bang large. It's just a slightly different size for each one. So instead of putting it all into this code, I'm going to create a custom block. Let's go to My Blocks, and we'll make a brand new block called Explode Sound. That'll just keep our code nice and neat. So we'll send that off to a little subroutine that we'll deal with in a second. All right, so we don't need to worry about that yet. Now, here we're going to add another if statement inside the first if statement. So let's go grab an if and put it right underneath wait 0 seconds. So it's inside the first if statement. So we're going to tell it, the first thing we need to tell it to do is what to do if it's the smallest kind of asteroid that gets destroyed. So we're going to trigger that. We're going to say if asteroid size stage is less than a number. So let's grab a less than sign. And we'll go back to our variables and we'll grab the bubble that says asteroid size stage. So remember our asteroid is going to be stage 3 if it's the biggest possible, the smallest asteroid. So if it is less than 3, meaning if we're not ready to blow up, if it's just a small, large or a medium asteroid, then what are we going to do? If we get shot, we're going to change our asteroid size stage by 1 here. So we're going to shrink our asteroid. Now we actually have to do the physical shrinking here. So we'll look at our looks menu. We'll go set size to. We're going to use a formula to do this because we want to use the same piece of code for both resizes. So what we're going to do is set size to the existing size. So down at the bottom of looks is a little bubble here that says size. We're going to change our size to the existing size divided by a number. So let's go grab a division sign, which is right here, the slash. We'll put that into the size here and we'll say size. Oh, and you see what happened? I popped the one thing into another thing and it pushed the first slash out of the way. Let's try that again. Set size to, so I didn't want to do, oh, it's hard to even do it accidentally. Okay, I'm going to set size, and I can do it accidentally, but I can't do it on purpose. Isn't that funny? So set size to divided by, make sure our size is in the right place. Size divided by 1.5%. So basically, let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to make my original asteroid, my master asteroid visible here, and let's change its size. So the first time we click this, we'll make a medium asteroid, which is that size. You can see the difference there. And then the next time we'll click on that again, and you'll see that's what our small asteroid will look like. So we've got 3 different sizes set up with that block. Beautiful. All right. Now we're going to make 4 different clones of ourselves. So we're going to grab the create clone block. We could go repeat 4 times, create a clone of myself, or we could just go create clone and duplicate it 4 times. So I'm just going to show you this way of doing it because that's what my documentation looks like. So remember, both of those things basically do the same thing. Let's do this though. We'll create clone of myself 4 times. And that is the end of that if statement. And at the end of it, so we're going to add a couple more pieces of code and then we'll be done this block here, guys. So let's go grab another if statement. And we'll say if our asteroid is the big size, so the smallest size, so if it is 3, and we need to put asteroid size stage into there. Let me save my file. It's been a while since I've done that. So if asteroid size stage is equal to 3, which means we're the smallest size, now here's where we're going to take that variable and move it down. Now we've added 1 to asteroid size stage every single time we created a giant one. But now our giant one has turned into as many as 16 different little guys, right? So what do we do now? Well, every time we destroy a small one, we're really destroying 1/16 of the big one. So if we subtract 1/16 of this variable, we should be able to keep track of how many asteroids are on the screen, believe it or not. So I'm going to change this number to, listen carefully here, minus 0.0625. 0.0625. And what that means is that decimal equals 1/16 of the size of an asteroid. So when this variable asteroids left actually reaches 0, so we've got 3 asteroids left right now, and when 3/16, which is 48 asteroids have been killed, then that will reach 0, and it'll know that the stage is over. So, and at the very end of it, we're going to say delete this clone outside of the if statement. So let's go to our control block. We'll say delete this clone. And so that will only happen if we're touching a projectile, right? So that will delete our guy. So depending on what happens, if we have a bigger asteroid, it'll break into pieces, and if not, it will delete it, right? Let's do the explode sound, and then we will test the game out, and we should be good to take a break then. So let me save my file one more time. So we're going to go define explode sound now. Let's put an if statement in there. We'll say if asteroid size stage is equal to 1. So if we have a small asteroid, let's go to our variables. We'll grab asteroid size stage. If it's equal to 1, then we're going to play the sound bang large. Let's duplicate that if statement. And then we'll say if asteroid size is 2, we'll make the medium sound. And then we'll duplicate it again. And we'll say if size is equal to 3, the smallest one, play the smallest sound. Okay, let's see if this is working yet. Let's hide our variables. We'll keep lives on the stage, but we don't need anything else for now. All right, maximize, and let's see if our guys are actually moving yet. 3 seconds. There we go, and they're still not moving, eh? Abby, were you trying to say something? Abby, you're very, very quiet on the screen there. I can barely hear you, buddy. And now I got some music playing in my ear. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let me pause that. Sorry. Abby, if you can try talking again. All right, I'm going to take a little break here and figure this out, guys, and I'll be right back. All right, so there's a reason these guys, there's some variable that I forgot that changes the asteroid size at the very beginning. Let me save my file. So I'm just going to have a look at my documentation again. Somewhere along here, I have to set the initial asteroid size. So the problem here we've figured out already is our asteroid size stage is at 0. I click the green flag, and that should be set to 1 for these guys, but they're still all set at 0 again. So I want to figure out where in the code we set that asteroid size stage. Change asteroid. I don't even see the asteroid size stage in this code here. If anyone has a suggestion or sees something, if you have a printout of this code, of course, that would help. Set speed to asteroid size stage. So nowhere on here do we set the initial size, change it by 1. So at the very beginning, we're changing the asteroid size stage of ourselves, but only if we're getting hit by something. Change visual direction. Okay. I think that what we should probably just do here, and I don't know why it's not anywhere else in the code, because there's no other space for it here. Okay, so Jeffrey's code that doesn't include this works. So I'm a little bit confused by why it's not there, but let's just fix it. I think it will fix it if we just go before our forever here, if we set asteroid size stage to 1. Let's just test that out and see if it works right now. Let's go back to my... working here. So Zach has a suggestion. Let me just try my idea here and see how that works. Yeah, and so they're not working. So let's look at Zach's idea. Asteroid size stage is -1, he says. So I've set my asteroid size stage to 1 at the beginning here, and it's still showing up as 0, eh? So where the heck is that? I am going to go into another tab here and open up Jeffrey's version of the game, and maybe you guys can help me figure out what's going on here. Asteroid. So this is the finished version of the game. I'll just give you guys a little preview of it. Can you guys see on Discord? No, you can't. Let me update my view here. Sorry, I have to go live again, guys, so that you could see this. All right, so you guys should be seeing the proper version of the game now. So as you can see, the asteroids start moving at the in the beginnings and then break up. So let's have a look at his code for asteroids here and see where he sets that variable called asteroid starting speed. Have I forgotten it somewhere? Point and direction. Change asteroid size stage. So the only place where we change the asteroid size stage. Oh, whoa. So there's under the green flag here. Yeah, so we've got it. Which part of the code is that? Asteroid size stage. So there's another part of the code here that I haven't done yet, or is that something that I just forgot? So I see it right here under the green flag. Set asteroids left, set round. Let me go look at my own code and see if that's there. So I just want to find it in the documentation. Yeah, it's right here. So, okay, I'm going to go back to my own game, guys. This might cause problems for you guys in Discord. Sorry, who's talking? Maddox, your microphone is turned on right now, and I can hear you kind of mumbling to yourself. Set asteroid size stage to 1. It is set there. So this is my version of the code here. So, and I set it back to 0. So guys, I don't know if anyone noticed my little boo-boo here. So I set it back to 0 again here for some reason. That is why it's not working. Let's just get rid of that. Oh, silly mistakes I make sometimes. That's the price you pay for being in a live stream, right? You don't always get a chance to error check something. So if I was recording this for you guys, of course I would have figured that out and you wouldn't have seen the silly mistake I made here. Let's try click the green flag again. Oh, yeah, now they're moving. So there we go, they're moving. Can we shoot them? Yes! Whoa! Okay, there's some interesting stuff happening here. But we're getting closer anyway. So let's keep finishing, let's keep coding this anyway. At least we solved that one problem. So let me just make sure that we're in the right place here. So we finished coding everything to do with the asteroid there. We finished everything here. Delete the clone. And we've got a little bit more to do. So that looks like it should be everything to do with the asteroid. But there's something going wrong here, eh? Wow. All right, so there's some more bugs in our asteroid code, it looks like. I'm just double checking everything here with my documentation to make sure that we're good. Sorry guys, so we have a little bit more asteroid code here, and I think I've just coded something wrong. We might not be able to finish this today, but what I would suggest is if we can't figure out this bug, I'll just look at it afterwards. Yeah, our explosion sound is not being triggered here. And there's a couple of other things wrong as well. So we didn't add the explosion sound here. Hold it. So explode sound should be right after wait 0 seconds. I didn't put that in there. That's another thing I forgot. All right, let's try that again. Whoa, and they just start a cascading series of, whoa, infinite asteroids. That is really cool. So there's some kind of a bug here, guys. I'm going to fix this overnight, okay? So I'll just find a solution to it. We're going to start coding some other stuff in the meantime, though. Okay, let me get back to my intro screen. Anything else anyone wants to share? Frida's leaving. We'll see you again. Yeah. Yes, Maddox. Hi, I can finally hear you. Are you there, buddy? So, okay, say hi, buddy. So you do, Maddox, you do want me to show your remix today? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will go ahead and do that then. So let's go back to my lessons here. We're going to go to the space shooter, which is way down here. We did that months ago, didn't we? Here we go, space shooter. And so Maddox has done a new remix for us. Great. Can you guys see over on Discord? Yes, you can. Good. All right, click the green flag. Oh, well, you've got a little scratch in space outfit here, eh? All right. So we got some issues here. Arrow keys. Our shoot button. Oh, all right. I like your graphics here. Yeah, you got some bugs still, though. We can't get those diamonds. We can't collide with them. And your bullets are working okay, but your robots are not cloning properly. So, Maddox, we'll have a look at this file a little bit later, and maybe I can help you to solve the problem. But you're not on. You are on Discord, aren't you? Yeah, Maddox. So we'll talk about this afterwards. If you want to stick around after we're done today, and I will help you fix your game. Okay, buddy? All right. So let's get back to this coding thing here. I'll tell everyone about the problems we were having here. So we're back in the asteroid. We needed the explode sound in there, and we needed to change the one variable. Okay. Okay, guys, we fixed the one bug with our asteroids not moving, but there's another bug. Let me tell you what we got going here. We're not going to get this solved today because I just have to go have a close look at the code and see what went wrong. And we're going to go to part 3 tomorrow anyway. So I'm just going to fix the stuff we can fix here, and then we'll leave this and start something else for the last couple of minutes. So 2 things to do here. Firstly, I told you guys to make that explode sound subroutine, but I never told you where to put it. So let's get it in there. So we're inside when I started the clone, inside the if statement here. So we've got to wait 0 seconds right after we touch things. And right under there, we want to add that explode sound block. I forgot to put that in before. And we also never set our initial asteroid size stage. When I looked at this a minute ago, I had another one here that said set it to 0 right after I set it to 1. I set it to 1. And then I immediately set it to 0, and I'm not quite sure why I did that. But that was the reason that our asteroids weren't moving, because they didn't have an initial size. Now, there's something else going on with the if statements. It probably has to do with the way they're nested inside each other. Let me show you what happens. It's quite comical. I'm going to hide that variable first. So here we go. We've clicked the green flag. Our asteroids start moving, but as soon as we shoot one, it breaks up into smaller pieces, which break up into smaller pieces, which break up into smaller pieces, and goes on till infinity until our game crashes. That's a little bit wild. So I don't have an immediate solution for why that happens. It looks like the asteroids are colliding with the asteroids and turning themselves into smaller pieces. So I'm not quite sure why that's happening, but we'll get that sorted out later on. So we're just going to keep coding here for another couple of minutes because we do have a lot to get through, and I want to finish this off tomorrow. So we're going to do, oh, here's something quick that we can do real fast. So when our guy gets killed, we have a little explosion graphic that we're going to use. We're going to do this in a second graphic, and so we're just going to do a fun little thing here where we draw ourselves a little explosion graphic, and then we're going to code it, and that will wrap us up for the day. So let me find the explosion graphic. Here it is. So I've created a new graphic. No, often I will do this inside the ship's costume, but this time I decided to show you how to do it as a separate costume. So let's start by going over to our create new sprite command here, and we'll paint a new sprite. We're going to call our new sprite, let's name it at the top here, we'll call it exploded. And what we want to do is paste our my ship into it. So let's go back to my ship. We'll grab it with our black arrow tool and copy. And then we're going to go back to exploded, and we'll paste it into this costume here. There we go. Now what we're going to do is just start destroying this guy. So I'm going to convert it to bitmap so I can start using my eraser tool. I'm going to be using two tools here to destroy this thing. One of them is going to be the eraser tool, which I'm going to use to erase pieces of our ship. And then I'm going to use this rectangle tool to grab pieces of the ship and start tearing it apart. Let me save my file. So watch, I've just drawn a random rectangle somewhere around my ship here, and I'm going to pull on it. And look at this. I've taken a piece of my ship and dismantled it. Let's take a bigger piece of this ship. If you want, you can rotate the pieces around a little bit like that. Okay, good. I'm just going to do it a little bit. Then I'm going to duplicate my costume. So I'm going to right click on my costume over here and select duplicate. Now this second one, I'm going to wreck even more. So I'll make these pieces fly out a little bit further, spin them apart. It doesn't have to be tidy. Explosions are not neat, right guys? So I'm just going to start moving stuff around like that. And I'll do, how many costumes do I have? Like 4 of them, I guess. So let's make another one here. We'll move everything a little bit further out. And what we'll also do here is start erasing stuff, especially the stuff in the middle. So I'm going to erase the stuff in the middle, and I'm going to make the stuff that's flying out of the edges less obvious. And I'll go duplicate it one more time, draw a few more boxes, fly stuff out, and then duplicate it again, or erase it a little bit first. And then my last one is going to have everything erased. It's going to be blank. And that will be the end of my guy. All right, so let me show you what that looks like, guys. We start here, and it goes, and then flies farther out, and then eventually disappears. Okay, let's do that in the code. We'll go when I receive, so let's start with a green flag, events, when green flag clicked. We're going to hide. Let's go to our looks menu. We'll say hide, and we'll switch costume to the first one, right? Which is costume 1. There we go. So we'll switch it to the first costume. And now we're going to have this guy do this when he gets a message from the ship saying he's going to explode. So let's go to our events. We'll go when I receive. We haven't created the event yet, so let's create a new event called explode. And when I get that explode message, we're going to, first of all, go to the spot where my ship is now. So we'll say go to random position, change that to say go to ship, my ship. Then we'll make it show because it's been hiding all along. We'll say show under our looks menu. Then we'll repeat 5 times. Control, repeat 5 times. And each time we're just going to go next costume. And then a little delay. We'll go 0.1 seconds. 0.1 seconds. And then when we're done exploding, we're going to hide again. We're just going to sit there waiting for the next time that we're needed again. So let me show you what that looks like. we'll switch back to costume 1 again. Here's my exploded guy. I haven't changed his size. His size should be 35%, but I'm gonna leave this big right now just so we can see what it looks like inside the code here. So when I click on this, when I receive, you can you'll see quickly what the explosion looks like. Like that, beautiful. So when my ship explodes, okay, so let's shrink this guy now. We need to get him down to 35%, just like our main ship. All right, so when our ship explodes, we should basically have the main ship disappear and be replaced by that graphic. And you kind of see it happening here, right? I can't maximize this because then I can't click on the block, but you get the idea, guys. So that we'll be using tomorrow. What time is it now? It's 11 o'clock. So I don't think we have time for anything else right now. There was one other little teeny bit of code here that we could probably get done. Yeah, you know what? I think we'll leave it for tomorrow. So, guys, we're gonna have an extra long session tomorrow, right? We've got to finish up all of this code. Wow! So we've still got the saucers left to do, and little bits of code in my ship, and a little bit of code in our game over event and in our shield. So wow, it's quite a bit to go here. Who wants to stick around a little bit longer? Do you guys want to do another 10 minutes or so? Let me know in the chat and we'll decide. Anyone have any thoughts on it? Discord people, you want to stick around a little longer? Anyone? 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 All right, I'm going to, since I haven't heard back from anyone, what? Maddox? Again, very shy. All right, guys. Yes? I think you're trying to talk and waiting for a quiet moment. Okay, so I'm hearing some yeahs here in the Dex saying yes. Eric's going. Dex says he wants to stick around a little bit longer and do a bit more coding. So since no one else has chimed in, let's do a little bit more coding here. I'm going to get some stuff set up here to get the shields going on our ship, okay? So let's do that. Sorry, Maddox, say that again. So Maddox... Yeah, Maddox, I'm having a really hard... I keep hearing bits and pieces of your conversation rather than the whole thing. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. But I'm going to need you to test your microphone and see if everything's working properly with that. Okay, guys, we're going to do a little bit more work here because we do have a lot to do tomorrow. So we'll just stick around for another 2 minutes or so, another 10 minutes or so if you're cool with that. So let me just go introduce it. All right, guys, we're going to do a little bit more coding here just because we have a lot to do in tomorrow's session and we want to leave time for our closing ceremonies for COVID Computer Camp tomorrow. So I'm going to do a little bit more today. We're going to start working on our shield for our ship. Again, that other little bug that we found with our asteroids, I'll have that fixed for tomorrow, but I just don't want to worry about it for right now. So let's get coding and do about 10 minutes more. All right, so we're going to go back to my ship. We're going to get our shields working now. So let's go we're going to start a new green flag in our ship. And this is going to be the one that controls our shield. So when green flag clicked, let me bump it up here a little bit. We're going to set our shielding to 0. So our variable called shielding, which determines whether it's turned on or off, is going to be set to 0. We don't have a variable for that, so let's create a new one. We'll just say, well, I'll just call it shields. Set shields to 0. And then we're going to put a forever loop that says, wait until we press the key for shields. So let's go grab a wait until. So it's going to be sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting until we press that shield button, which is the letter E. So it doesn't have to be letter E, by the way, guys. You can pick anything you want. So I'm going to go to my sensing blocks. I'm going to grab a block that says key space pressed. And you can make that any key on the keyboard if you want. We put E here because it's right next to W. So if you're playing WASD, it should be a really easy way to do it. If you're playing with arrow keys, you might want to go with something that's a little closer to the arrow keys, like maybe a number on your numpad. I'm not sure if that works or not. Or you could go with like letter L or M or something. So just pick a letter you're going to use. We're not going to use any other letters on the keyboard here. So just make it whichever one you want. So we wait until that key is pressed. Then we broadcast a message. So let's go to our variables. We'll broadcast, our events. And we'll broadcast a message that's called shields on. Okay. Now, when our shields are turned on, let's go grab a when I receive. Shield on. What's good? Oh, Maddox, your mute microphone is not muted. I'm hearing shooting noises. Please turn those off. All right, so let's go set our shielding to 1. Set shields to 1. We're going to wait 2 seconds. That's the length that our shields are going to last for. Then we're going to set the shields back to 0 again. So let's go to our variables. Set shields back to 0 again. And then they have to warm up again. What do you say? So Maddox, you're not really controlling your microphone properly here. I'm just going to temporarily mute you on here, just so that I can't hear you chatting to yourself over on our Discord. All right, so we're gonna go set shields. When I receive shields on, set shields to 0, and then we're gonna wait 10 seconds, which is the cool off time that we have to wait before we can use our shields again. All right, now I believe there was something else. Yeah, so let's go over to our shields now. We have a little, we don't actually have the graphic for that yet, eh? So we're gonna create our shields right now. Let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna make the shield just a little circle. So let's go ahead and create that right now. We're gonna go paint a new sprite. We're going to make a circle around the size of our spaceship. We're going to paint it green, so I'm going to grab the circle tool. I'm going to change my color to a nice green color. And then I will draw a circle, and let's see whether it's the right size or not. Oh, it should be a hollow circle, so the fill shouldn't be green. The fill should be transparent. The outline should be green. That's right. There we go. So let me save my file here. And I'll draw a little circle here. I think it should be a little bit thicker. Let's make the thickness 2. And again, we'll try drawing a little circle here. That looks a little bit better. I'm going to make it smaller, so we want to resize it so that it's just kind of around our ship, a little bubble around our ship. So that's again a bit. So I'm going to grab my arrow tool and resize it again. Let's zoom in here a little bit so we can do a little finer control. That looks about right. So let me try just moving it on top of our spaceship here and see what it looks like. Oh, or we'll just move the spaceship on top of it, I think. And see if that's the proper size. Yeah, that looks about right. So when these two are centered inside each other, it should be a pretty good fit. So I'm going to leave that in my save file. So again, it's not, it's just a matter of whether, the circle can be any size you want. You can even make it a different color or something else if you want. You can give it costumes. But we're just, so let's start coding it here. We'll just call it shield. And we've got a little bit of coding to do here. Then we're going to sign off for the day. So let me find that. Here's the shield. So let's go to our events. We'll go when green flag clicked, forever, We're going to say go to my ship. So let's go to our motion block. We'll say go to ship, my ship. We're going to make sure it moves the same as the ship. So we're going to have to change its XY. Let's go change X and change Y. Those are both under motion blocks. And we're going to put the variables for your movement in there, which are velocity X and velocity Y. So what this will make sure is that when we move our ship, our shields will move along with it. And now, so it's going to be following the ship around constantly, but only visible if our shield is equal to 1. So we're going to put an if statement in here. We'll say equal to 1. And we'll drag our variable in there if our shields are equal to 1. And this is an if-else. Oh, I made the mistake. I have to do this once every session. Let's change this to an if-else. So if shields are equal to 1, we'll show. Let's go to our looks menu. We'll go show. And otherwise, we'll hide. Okay, I think we should be able to test this out. Let's have a look inside our game here. Green flag. So we're moving around. Now if I hit the letter E, our shield stays on for 2 seconds and then turns off. I think I have to redesign my shield a little bit. It's not looking very good. There we go. Whoa, and now we start a cascading series of destruction. So I will do my best overnight, guys, to figure out how to stop Asteroid Mageddon here. It looks like there's an apocalypse happening here every time we play this game. I will stop that, guys. I will figure out what's going on, and I'll get back to you with that tomorrow. In the meantime, I think I'm going to have to sign off now. We got quite a bit more code left to do tomorrow, so if you're hanging out with us tomorrow, remember, we're going to finish this game, then we're going to have a little graduation ceremony and a Kahoot. So we're probably going to run 2 hours tomorrow, I would estimate. So see if you can ask your parents if you only have limited screen time. Let's make a special exception for tomorrow because we're going to be here. This will be our last time for the next couple of weeks. So I'd like to have an extra long session with you guys if we can all manage it. So talk to your parents if you have to, but I'd like you to sign in for the long haul. And if you're a regular here, your name will come up in the broadcast. We'll be showing some of your work, and it'll be a really nice chance for you guys to have one last little hurrah before we're done here. So let me save my file one last time. All right, guys, so I'm going to sign off for now. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow for our